I'm finally at the age where I think that older men are truly the only option at this point. I've gone through 25 years of dating people my age or a little bit younger, and where has it gotten me? Absolutely nowhere but disappointed. Like, I am making this so like I can look back on it in the future and be like, Josie, you promised yourself this. You promised yourself it is only older men from here on out. I have disrespected my emotional maturity and mental awareness enough. Like, it's time for me to find someone who's halfway to where I am mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. Like, I'm done, you guys.
Approximately 10 hours later.
I accidentally said I wanted to date older men, and I think it got taken in the wrong context. Why do I have grandpas in my DMs right now thinking they've shot? I was referring to men that are like in their early 30s. I'm 25 for reference. People are taking this all kinds of wrong ways. I'm not trying to be someone's daughter they never had, so they need to like fill the void. Not what I meant. And being that I've only ever dated younger men, when I say older, that literally means like a couple years older.
I guess my question would be, why do you guys think that men are going to want to wife something like this? Like, what are men actually going to be able to do with this? It's almost like you guys don't understand that this is not the type of stuff that you can take home to your mother. Like, y'all want men to present themselves a certain way and to represent y'all in a certain way and not embarrass y'all. But then y'all put this type of stuff out on the internet and want men to be proud of it. Come on, guys.
If you are single in your 30s and 40s, the problem isn't that we're meeting tons of awful men. If we interact with awful men, most of the time it's on the internet, and half of those might be bots. The problem is we're simply not meeting men anywhere. And we did that shit when they said, go where men like to go, do what men like to do, as if we had to cater our plans to suit their tastes. We tried that too. They weren't there either. They're nowhere. We're like, where are you? We exist. We are here. We are out there. Where the fuck are you? The crazy thing is, it was never the women. It was never the women staying at home crying on the couch. The men were. The men were the ones not leaving the house. They were the ones that don't go out and do anything. So when we go out and try to find people to connect with and avoid that loneliness everybody hates so much, where are y'all? You ain't outside, I'll tell you that. We will stop telling women to put ourselves out there right now, because we are out there. The men are not out there, and we're never meeting anybody. We cannot be in relationships if we never meet people. Actual meeting. That's what's causing so many single people, more single people than there have ever been, and single people later into their adulthood than we ever thought we would be. We're just not meeting anybody. You can't be in a relationship with somebody if you never meet them. So everybody leave the house. Don't just tell the women to do it, tell the men to do it too, or we're rather not.
But y'all don't market to men. Y'all don't do anything that men actually want to do. It's always the man has to get to know the woman, and he should be so grateful. I'm going to stay at the house and play these games.
I love when a man can just get the point and get on. You know what I'm saying? I just had this guy come up to me. I'm actually leaving the bathroom. I'm leaving the bathroom, and this guy comes up, or actually he passes me in the bath. Like, he's going to the bathroom. He doesn't even go to the bathroom. He ends up turning around, and I'm walking out, and I'm like, is this man behind me walking? I'm like, he's about to say something to me. And he proceeds to ask me, like, oh, are you from here? No, I'm not from here. Or yes, I'm from here. He's like, oh, have you ever been to the Bay Area? And I'm like, no, I've never been to the Bay Area. And he was like, I'm assuming that you're already taken and have somebody at home. And I was like, yes, I do. And he's like, I just wanted to say that you are very beautiful. And, have a good day. And I was like, well, thank you. You as well. And we kept it pushing. It wasn't no, can I be your friend? It wasn't no extra. He got it. And he moved the fuck on. Y'all, take notes for y'all that like to keep on hounding. Take notes. Ask a question. Get the no. Move the phone. I can respect those kind of people.
I like what they call me T-Rob said in the comments. He said, yeah, most guys usually do take the hint. It's usually the buttholes that don't. That's what we be trying to tell women.
Okay, so I just had a woman tell me, like, there's no way men do nice things for you and they don't ask for some cat. And boy, oh boy, do I have a list. Contrary to popular belief, a man gets like a dopamine rush when he does things for women that he actually likes, that he actually wants to receive some sort of validation from. Just the same as women. There are plenty of women who literally enjoy doing things for men that they find attractive or that they like. The same applies to men. And I'll tell you a quick little tip. The quicker a man asks you for some cat, regardless of if he's doing something as a favor or a gesture or just because, the faster he asks you for some cat, the less likely he actually likes you or even finds you attractive. Because like, men will be in the presence of a woman and seek that, but as far as like validation where he actually feels like he's capable of providing and protecting, doing things of that sort for you, they're not naturally going to feel that way about every woman. And I kid you not, I can name so many scenarios. There was one scenario where I literally like restocked my entire fridge. I bought cleaning supplies. I like texted my roommates and asked them if they wanted me to pick up any adult drinks. I'll just say that. So I had a couple of bottles and then some Crown. Literally, I get to the checkout and I don't have my ID. So the cashier is like, I can't get you that. The man behind me was like, put it on mine and I'll take care of everything else too. This man paid almost $300 at the grocery store. You know what he asked me for? Nothing. Not even my number. It was just his way of paying it forward.
This is what protection and provision looks like. But most women don't think that men do that either.
Why does the bar literally drop to hell when you're dating in real life versus dating online? Like, I was out at a bar and all anyone ever had to do was just be there. It really could have been anyone. Could have been the bar back and I would have been like, yeah, what's up? And on a dating app, all it takes is one photo of you in a drawstring backpack for me to entirely lose interest. And I don't know why there's such a vast difference.
A woman in the comments said, I have learned that in real life isn't better than online. Well, yeah, because you're a trash person in both places.
Well, this seems to be a running question, so I'll go ahead and address it. I am 27 and I do love the company of an older man. Certainly not for their maturity, but for their generosity. And they're a little bit more traditional in a way that I would like. Older men are not only more established with their finances, but they have a better sense of self. They're more aware of their boundaries, their morals, their beliefs, like those things are already set. They're not out here still trying to find themselves in a general sense, like they already know who they are. I just don't feel that I can grow into the woman that I want to be with a man that's not done growing. All and out men will still be men, but if it comes to a young and generous man over an older generous man, I'm going to take the old every single time. Oh, and they're most likely already done having children.
That's funny. So in the dealings where men are dating younger women who are of legal age, then all of a sudden that's a problem. But if it's reversed and a younger lady is dating a man with a huge age gap, get the bag. Make sure you pocket that money. Work to build your career off of his back. You're doing the right thing. Amazing.
Women 18 to 34 have political opinions that are way off center compared to everyone else. Plus, they're dreadfully miserable. Well, they get 80% of their news from TikTok, and TikTok is a bot farm fundamentally.
Yeah.
And the algorithms are designed to produce exactly the kind of upsetting pathology that characterizes female voters between the ages of 18 to 34.
Well, I mean, this is why woke is so female coded. Everybody kind of wonders, what in the world is critical race theory? Why is it so female coded? It's because every bit of what we call woke on the left passed through feminism to mainstream.
Yeah.
So it was all built off of pathological women trying to figure out how to pathologize young women to join their club.
Yeah.
And these types of women will continue to say that men, misogyny, and the patriarchy are the problem. All men, all the time. Men will sit up here and tell you, no, I'm not doing that. This is the guy that you're talking about. I'm telling you to avoid this guy. No. It's all men until it isn't. Believe all women, all that other foolishness, and wonder why nobody wants to be bothered with them.
I just want to know, what happened to two-parent household? Like, why is everybody a single mom? Like, what happened to the two-parent households? You don't never see that no more.
I think as women, sometimes it's hard for us to truly hold one another to a certain standard because we do share a lot of the same frustrations about things, and we know firsthand what it's like to be a woman. And so we are so much more willing to give each other grace in areas where we really should be holding each other to a standard. And the perfect example of this is, I jokingly, but jokes always got a little truth to it. Anytime sometimes my mom will call and we'll be talking, and then out of nowhere she'll say something about my dad, and I'll be so quick to be like, girl, that's your husband. That's just my daddy, but that's your man. I feel like it's healthy for us to understand that while you can relate to something, you don't have to internalize something. Because with women, if we get one person on our side, we will carry something out for generations. And it's not always healthy. Like, sometimes your homegirl need to tell you, like, that was dead wrong. Like, you shouldn't have done that. Sometimes you should stop being someone's friend because the way they move is dangerous. You get what I mean? Like, it's okay to hold women to that standard. And it's like, people get so uncomfortable when you start talking about women and the things that we do that are causing us to live a life that's not the most favorable. And it's okay to hold women accountable. And accountable doesn't mean blame. Accountable means you should take into consideration the things that you did to contribute to this situation. That's what accountability means. It does not mean it's your fault. It does not mean you are to blame. It means that you should take into consideration the part that you have played in this outcome. Simple.
I've been hearing this discourse online of men saying that they don't want to pay for dates. They don't want to buy drinks at the bar. And to that I say, do whatever you want to do with your money. I don't support or discourage that. But they're all using the logic of, why should I pay for what another man could get for free or is getting for free? And that's the whole point. There's always going to be another man and not you. Because there's always going to be another man that's more attractive than you. There's always going to be another man that has more personality than you. There's always going to be another man that has more resources than you. And the only thing you're doing with this logic, this mentality, is disqualifying yourself and making sure that it's not going to be you if you don't want to use your money to level the playing field. Okay? Sex is not charity work for women. We do not just have to give our body away if we don't feel like it's benefiting us in any way. If we're not attracted to you, we don't like your personality, there's no resources, we're not gaining anything from this, what do we get from just laying up with a man? And what do we get? A wet cat and the risk of unplanned pregnancy? Oh, and this whole reproductive thing. Everybody's always talking about how it's a man's primal nature, his instinct to want to reproduce and spread his seed. Well, if that's the case, why do y'all never have the instinct to want to provide for these children that you could potentially create? Why do you never have the instinct to want to be a father, to be a husband? Never. It's that always is going to fall on us. Oh, and then back to this whole nature thing. I think a lot of y'all are forgetting that some of y'all are supposed to die off.
What? What? What are we talking about here?
I just want to make sourdough for my husband.
I'm just going to bake sourdough. You're mocking what you claim to defend.
A man, a provider, you just get to sit at home, bake bread every day? Slim to none.
Well, honey, maybe in Los Angeles it is. You're in a liberal, leftist bubble. You got to get out.
It could not be easier, if that's what you're going to pursue, to be trapped by a man.
Let me tell you something, honey.
You guys, I'm so sick of going on dates where you don't feel a connection. Just got back from a first date and there was no chemistry. Do you know what I mean? Where like conversation feels hard. It sucks. He was super cute, so nice. But when conversation feels like pulling teeth, you have to take the L. Do you know what I mean? You have to be like, okay, like it wasn't it. We did have like good banter online, but that's the other thing. And this is my whole thing with dating apps and any kind of online conversation. Like you don't know if there's actually a connection until you meet in person. Like, on a date when you're like, I genuinely don't know what I'm gonna ask you next. Like, I don't even know what to say next. Again, this has nothing to do with that person. It's just the chemistry. Like, it's either there or it's not. It's nobody's fault. It just shows whether you're compatible or not. You can be compatible in ways on paper, but if the chemistry's not there, It's not as a yapper, like I need somebody who I can talk to, you know? I'm trying to be very transparent with you guys and share my dating life and share my experience, because I think it's important for us all to share the highs and the lows and not just make it look like perfect, because it's not. And I think more real content like this to show that like you can have a date that's not it. The guy can be nice and like just you might not have chemistry, and then we have to get back on the saddle. We can feel a little bit sad. We can feel a little bit like I miss having a connection with someone, but then we got to get back on the saddle and try again. At least we're putting ourselves out there. So I'm gonna go back to finding the best places in LA to meet single men, and hopefully one of them will be my man. We'll see.
She said something really interesting. As a yapper, I need somebody that I can talk to. No, you don't. Y'all be looking for the wrong thing and you wonder why you're still. I'm not saying that it makes you a bad person, but y'all are not looking for the right quality.
This message is for my white women, my snow bunnies. What are y'all doing to get these men to marry y'all? And y'all getting these millionaires and then y'all suing them and becoming multi-millionaires. Like, help me out. I ain't no hater. I'm a congratulator. Help me. How are y'all getting these men to marry y'all? Because I don't have no kids. I'm fit. I'm cute as a button. I'm submissive. I cooperate. I'm not mouthy. I'm supportive. I'm not the type of woman that, oh, you got to take me to the 5-star restaurant. You got to make 6 figures. I'm good with what, 70,000. I mean, I go to the gym. I cook. I clean. I let them touch my nasty parts. I mean, what are y'all doing? Y'all need a class to help me. I'm not afraid to say I need some help with white women. I'm not afraid to say, what are y'all doing? Because y'all getting these men to marry y'all. And y'all are being married. Y'all don't got that many baby daddies. Okay, cool. Help me. DM me. DM me, fellas. DM me and let me know what else can I do to find my husband. Because, I mean, I don't know what else that I can do. Like, I make him lunch. I mean, what? I cook like 4 times a week. I give up my nasty parts. I wear lingerie. I mean, I don't have a problem with getting them. I'm just having a problem with them not wanting to get married. Can y'all white snow bunnies help me out?
Natalie said, make their life easier and they will make your life more comfortable. They don't want to hear that.
You know what really bothers me with the whole we don't call men ugly enough thing? Yes, you do. Bro, dude, trust me, they hear it all the time. I'm not gonna lie, the only time y'all haven't called a man unattractive is if it's someone that's kind of not really conventionally attractive, but you're still attracted to them in some way. That's the only kind of non-attractive man that you hype up. But when I tell you, bro, I know chopped dudes who have been told they're chopped to their face. Long story short, one time me and my friend were at a tailgate, right? And we're just like walking through, and then like people are sauced, but the thing is we're sober, okay? And the thing is like, you know, when people are sauced, they want to get you to have their energy, but it's like you don't have it. This girl walked up to me and she tried to like kiss me, right? And I like, she was like, and then like her hand was like this. So I just gave her a high five and kept walking. And she's like rude. And then she looked at my friend and was like ugly. And he's like, bro, what did I do? Like he literally didn't do anything to her. Like what I'm telling you, these men that you deem unattractive, bro, you call them ugly all the time. Like I don't know who's here not calling them ugly. Like I don't know why we're so convinced that like that men are just like more vocal about like their opinions on how women look in a negative way. It was like, I assure you, bro, ask a chopped person of either gender. They've heard it from the opposite gender. Now, the thing is, men hear it from other men as well. It's not even an insult. It's just stating a fact. However, there's a particular demographic where, you know, their friends, their pals might not tell them. Okay, so it's crazy to me, like now that I'm really thinking about it, and it's not just ridiculous, it's crazy to me that people are getting on here saying that men don't get called unattractive enough when it absolutely happens. And then again, you look at the people saying these things, it points to the notion that they have friends who are like, oh, he's just saying that. He's just mad he can't get you, da 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 da. I'm just saying.
Good morning, happy Wednesday. Question for the men out there. What dating advice would you give women? I'm just curious, want to do a poll, want to see what you guys have to offer us. And then tomorrow I'm going to do the reverse.
What happened to the guys that are like, let me come pick you up and let's go to dinner so I can get to know you, not let me come over so I can get to know your
being invisible as we get older. Let me tell you a short story of how I first experienced this. So I'm 57 now. This was probably when I was about 55. I was walking through a mall and all of a sudden I just got this weird sense that nobody saw me. I just was there and I was walking, looking at stores and looking at people and different things, but nobody was looking at me. And all of a sudden it occurred to me, oh, people used to look at me. I mean, men used to look at me. Even women would notice me. And all of a sudden I just felt like I wasn't relevant anymore. Like I didn't really matter and nobody noticed me. And it was the weirdest, emptiest feeling. I felt overwhelmed with a feeling of like sadness and depression. It occurred to me, I wasn't as outwardly, I guess, vibrant and attractive as I used to be, if that's what I was, but that's what it felt like. I felt like I just kind of faded into the woodwork, like I wasn't that special and nothing was really, nobody was really noticing me. I was just kind of there, neutral, like faded, just blended into the scenery.
Why are girls in their early to mid 20s getting Botox? Why are 24, 25, 26-year-old girls getting Botox for aging? Like, we're being sold that you should be getting like preventative Botox, but that just doesn't seem right. But the beauty standards are so crazy these days. Like, we are going so far over the top with fillers, Botox, plastic surgery, and then men and other women see these women with like all this work done and they think that's like normal, when everyone has things that they don't like about themselves. Everyone has little insecurities. If you want to fix something about yourself that you really don't like I completely understand that, but it just seems like more and more women are doing it and they're starting younger and younger, and it's really concerning. Personally, I'm 28 years old. I've never done anything cosmetic, and trust me, there are things that I don't like about my face and my body, but I'm honestly too scared to do something about it. I want to be as natural as I can for as long as possible. I'm going to hold out as long as possible before doing anything. I don't want to be injecting fake into my face. And also, we have so many expenses just for normal upkeep of our appearance, like skincare, makeup, hair stuff, laser hair removal. All these things are so expensive, and then you add a cosmetic treatment like fillers and Botox or things like that, regular treatment, that is so expensive. I don't even get my nails done because that is not part of my budget right now. I'm doing a lot right now. Getting my nails done is not a priority for me. Anyway.
The other day, I asked over 4,000 men if they agreed or disagreed with this statement. Is it true that boys remember compliments for a really long time because they don't get them often? 90% of the men who voted said that it was true. A lot of women don't realize, and I didn't either until I started doing this work, but they don't realize the level and the amount of rejection that men face and the lack of attention because they're typically the ones pursuing the women. I don't think women are ever going to have to deal with the level of rejection that men face. Ladies, think about that for a second. I asked a bunch of guys what their favorite compliment they've ever received or a recent compliment they've ever received. I'm going to put some up on here, but ladies, I would love to encourage you to give more compliments out to men. And it's something so simple. It can genuinely make their entire day, week, or month. You never know.
I'm going on my 24th first date of the year. This guy is 34. He's an operations analyst. We're going to dinner, so let's see how it goes. So it went fine. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't really great either. He's a really nice guy, very sweet, very chivalrous, which I respect. I think he was just on the shyer side, so I felt like I kind of had to do most of the talking. And then, I don't know, I felt like because of the shyness, it made some moments kind of awkward. But, it's first date. What are you gonna do? And yeah, it was a nice dinner. We had to wait. The restaurant was just so busy. We had to wait another 35 minutes before we even got sat, which is kind of hard with a shy person. But we made do. He's actually an actor for the most part, or his main thing is acting. So we had a lot to discuss on that topic, which I enjoyed and found interesting. So yeah, I think we'll stay in touch, maybe more so as friends. I don't know.
24 first dates in 4 months is insane work. And the fact that they're talking about they can't find anybody, they can't find the perfect person, maybe it's not them at this point.
what words are we supposed to be using to compliment a guy's attractiveness? Like, I can't call him hot. I can't call him beautiful. I can't call him pretty. I can't call him cute. I can't call him, like, do I call him handsome? Like, is that weird? I don't know. I feel like a grandma when I say that. But, like, I don't know. Like, please, someone help me, please.
The BBL bandits that lie about the fact that they got the surgery and then sell workout plans and like meal plans to pretend like they did it themselves are quite confusing to me, just because there are thousands of fitness influencers, right? I have not seen anybody fall into the niche of, yes, I got surgery, but you know I have to work out to maintain it, and here's how I'm doing it. Seems like such a money move to me. A much better money move than pretending to be one of the thousands of influencers that are not going to differentiate you from anything. And then you get to be honest too. What a shocker.
I'm just driving to work, and a thought of mine is like, why would you tell your man no? Like, what? Do you even like him? I don't know. He just looked at me and he didn't even ask you the question. The answer is yes. Okay? I will never tell my man no. It's always yes, baby. Yes. Yes, Big Papa, what you want? What you need? Yes. Yes.
If nobody gonna tell you, then I'm gonna tell you. Men are only strict when you pretty. That's why some of y'all got the freedom that y'all got.
So women can be in charge in a patriarchy?
I guess if the women were upholding patriarchal standards, then yes.
So why wouldn't that be a matriarchy then?
It depends on the definition that you're using.
Right. It seems to me that patriarchy has no meaning if you're removing men from being at the top of the patriarchate. Could you imagine how foolish it would sound if I said there was this great matriarchy with a king and princes and everything that wasn't matriarchal?
He asked you if it could still be a patriarchy if there's women at the top managing it. And you said if they're upholding patriarchal structures, it could still be a patriarchy. What do you mean by that? What are those patriarchal structures that those women at the top would theoretically be upholding?
Capitalism would be a good example.
Women benefit from capitalism, you benefit from
Anybody
it.
can, there's benefits and negatives.
Wait, so are you against capitalism?
Theoretically, yes. I think that there are ways that it could become better.
In practice, you do only. So theoretically, you're not against it.
I have to be able to live. I have to be able to live.
You're taking advantage of capitalism in order to live.
Just take the L. Take the L, please. You don't have to be right 100% of the time.
The reason women aren't getting married to the men they want is because they suck at selling marriage to men. And the reason they suck at selling marriage to men is because even they struggle to find reasons why marriage is beneficial to men. On multiple occasions in my life personally, I've asked women to sell me on the reason why we should get married. And they would consistently and predictably never be able to speak to my self-interest as a man. They only ever talk about things that benefit them and then somehow assume that those same things also benefit you, which is rarely the case. Like for instance, they'll talk about companionship and sharing your life with someone, which is exactly something that you'd expect someone that's scared to be alone to say, but if you're a man, you don't have that same fear. Men on average are far more familiar with and more equipped for solitude than women are. So using the, you'll die alone scare tactic just doesn't work. There's some men that it would work on, but it wouldn't be the caliber of men that women genuinely want to get married to anyway. And there's the longevity argument. According to some studies out there, men who are married tend to live longer on average than single men. Which again is an argument that doesn't hold up when you pay attention to context. For one, most men would take 20 years of bliss and fulfillment over 100 years of misery. The quality of the time spent will always hold more importance than the quantity. Like they say, we're here for a good time, not a long time. But if the good time happens to last long, then that's good too. But the good is the more important part. That admittedly is like a testosteronic kind of view on the use of time, which is why men are more prone to risk-taking than women are. But I'm sure you can see how useless it is now to try to convince a man to choose quantity over quality, especially when it comes to the use of his time. Then there's the financial argument for marriage. Married men save more on taxes and have more money, which again is factually incorrect because marriage does nothing for your capacity to earn more money, but you're also taking on more of a financial burden, which means more of a liability for you. The other reasons they bring up revolve around stuff like child rearing and religion, which are all social constructs, so I never take seriously anyway because I'm anti-culture. And even more importantly, I never see the direct benefit to me. What do I get out of it? Even worse, I've legitimately had women, older women especially, try to shame me for looking at it from my point of view, for being a little selfish about it. According to these women, I need to grow up and take responsibility. What the f does that mean? Because from where I'm standing, I can clearly see what women benefit from marriage. There's all kinds of benefits for them. You get protection, provisioning, stability, certainty, comfort, companionship, the opportunity to flex their nurturing muscles. They even get the psychological guarantee that someone out there is obligated to look after them. But as men, we're the ones that are taxed with providing all those things. So what do we realistically get out of marriage? Marriage isn't an asset to a man unless he willingly puts in the work to make sure that it is. Otherwise, marriage, especially with the way it's set up to be socially, is a liability to men. And that right there is why women have the hardest time selling marriage to high quality, high caliber men. Because if you're a man that lives in abundance, why the f would you get married? It's Jason, favorite scientist. Do with all this information what you must.
And when I tell you guys that the sisterhood is full of contradictions, most women in the sisterhood don't really know what they want, and they lie. Like, literally, I made a post yesterday about how come it's only black women telling me that black men hate me. How come a black man isn't telling me this out their mouth? Why is it always black women that are a part of the sisterhood who is angry, telling me that black men don't like me and they're not going to choose me? However, I'm still being chosen and black men are loving me every day. On top of that, I made another post talking about how black women is blaming black men for the whole texturism issue in the black community, when the other day I had said something towards black men that another black woman didn't like, and she said, sis, that's why your hair don't touch your shoulders. What the one got to do with the other? But you see how when you upset the sisterhood, or when you upset black women who have not seeked out their healing, the first thing they do is attack your looks, and your looks always have to do with your hair or your skin complexion. No black man has ever made me feel like shit being dark skin or for having natural hair. I always get praised for my complexion, my melanin, and for my natural hair. When a black woman gets mad, I'm always blacky. I'm always blackest. I'm always African. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna come up here later on today and show you guys comments that a black woman left me on Facebook the other day telling me I was African, I was an African booty scratcher. She called me blackie, a grown woman, mind you. And she's probably going to get online later on and blame all of this on black men. I be so confused with the sisterhood. What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? This is why some folks be like, you know what, women shouldn't have had rights. And sometimes I agree.
This dude on Hinge just asked me what there is to do in my town. And I said, I don't know. Google it. And I thought he was going to be like pissed or something. But he Googled it. And then he picked a place. Good boy. Good boy.
They're not going to answer questions like a normal person. They're just going to find something silly to say.
We got some updates from that girl who said that she was expecting men to come help her move, and then no men helped her move, and she's very upset about that. Here are my updates. All right, so she DM'd me on TikTok, and she was pretty nice in the beginning, and basically asking if we can have a conversation. I told her to message me on Instagram. So she messages me this, and I sent a bunch of voice memos after this, but I'm going to go and generalize pretty much everything that went back and forth in this conversation. So point number one, she basically says, you don't even know who I am. You're generalizing my beliefs without actually knowing who I am. She basically says that she doesn't feel entitled to a man helping me. She even made the point that she could have replaced the word man with human, and she would have been just as disappointed in society. Here's my first point in the summary of my first voice memo. I basically told her, I don't need to know you. I don't know why she says this line that I need to know her, like I need to know if her parents are divorced or what high school she went to make a determination that her basic video where she says that a man is biologically stronger, basically going and implying that you think a man is owed labor if you're struggling to carry something. Like, what else do I need to know? I go on to say my first voice memo. I say the word they a lot, referring to women, saying that you guys don't want to be approached, you don't want to be spoken to. That first point that the guy said about the bear was a completely viable and normal response, saying like, you guys should go ask the bear. She goes on in her first voice memo basically saying like, you keep using the word they, referring to all women, and I don't have that point of view.
Has never been come out of my mouth, it's never been stated. The idea was that I thought it would be nice, it would be polite, it would be in my opinion, the thing that men in my life would do. There's not a single man in my circle who wouldn't help a woman if they saw her lifting something heavy, struggling, whatever. So this is just where I come from. And when you say, well, I don't need to know who you are, I would argue you do, because you keep saying you guys. I'm not quite sure who you guys are. If you're generalizing me as a woman, as women, you know, if I talk to every man in the generalization of you guys, you men, I would talk to all of you like you're perverted freaks. So you actually cannot just dismiss, well, I have to know who you are. I'm just taking it at face value. I never stated that it's owed to me as a man. If you happen to finish my video, which you did not include in your full video.
Saying you didn't say in your video that you're entitled to a man basically helping you carry your stuff because you can't carry it, when you literally say at the end of your video that biologically men are stronger, so it's feeding into our biological differences between men and women, you're literally implying that biologically we're stronger, so we're owed our labor to you.
A man to help, not even asking, you're just assuming or hoping that a man would help a girl with lifting something heavy, actually places biological design. Men literally are designed to love to help. Men's bodies are designed to be stronger than women, okay? Like, this is tapping into something that is actually, like, true, that is not insulting. Like,
No, I don't expect a man to be helping me as a woman. I'm just saying biologically, like, you're just so much stronger than us that it's actually, you just should be helping us. But I don't expect anything. Then she goes and says, listen, you keep talking about they, saying like all women, and I don't have any of those views. And if I thought of all men as one thing, I think you guys are all perverted creeps, which is literally exactly our point. You are doing that, and that's the correct assumption that if, let's say, a stranger comes up to you and offers you a ride in a car, and you go, I don't know this guy. I'm probably not going to get in the car with him. It's a safety mechanism because something bad can happen. For a complete stranger, men have been told by other women, a group of other women, you're a woman, we don't know you, you don't want to be approached, you don't want to be spoken to. So a safety precaution for us that we don't want to get yelled at or do anything wrong is we don't talk to you guys. We don't approach unless you go and talk to us first. Most men are not going to go up to somebody who looks like they're struggling carrying something and offer to help. Most men. And I don't know how she didn't see this one coming. She goes on to name how her parents and her grandparents, like, they do all this kind of stuff, you know, for their wives or other women. You mean the generation that, like, didn't allow women to have credit cards?
Or my parents' generation or the generation before, that's not a question. It's not a question if a man is helping you. That's how I was raised. I come from an immigrant family. That's how our culture is. So maybe it's an American culture.
Oh, who would have thought the generation that wouldn't let women buy homes or vote, that they don't view women the same level as men and think that they need to be taken care of and helped. And then when I make this point about how that generation that she's bragging about is the generation that didn't allow women to have credit cards, didn't allow women to buy homes, she's basically like, listen, I don't like where this conversation's going. You're clearly not a Christian for me.
I'm owed. I think it's the right thing to do. I think it's the polite thing to do. And you know what? You can say that, you know, it's because of a generational thing, but, you know, the same generation that would have done that is the same generation that didn't view women as equal. I have to disagree with you again on that. I think maybe it's not even my cultural background. I think it's my religion. If you're a Christian, it doesn't matter what generation you're from. It doesn't matter.
And I think she's trying to get like sympathy in her next voice memo. She talks about how she's getting a bunch of mean comments right now. And I tried to explain to her that, like, listen, I don't know if you realize it, but like what you said is offensive. So yes, do I agree that people are getting a little carried away? Probably, maybe, I don't know. But when you come online and you say something offensive, yeah, people are going to get upset. It's the same thing as like when I hear women say, oh, men used to go to war. Like, you don't understand the actual sentiment of what you're saying. It is the male version of get back in the kitchen. She tries to let me know that her personally, she doesn't have the stance that she would choose the bear over the man, and that you don't even know my stance on that. And the reality is again, I don't need to know. The same way, like, I know me personally, I would never go and hurt a woman. I would never go and attack a woman. I need to approach a woman knowing that other men do those things, so I have to gain their trust. The same thing is applied here. We don't know you. I'm not just going to approach some random girl who needs help and assume that she's somebody like you who, you know, she likes the help. Because the same way a girl can choose a guy wrong and then have something very bad happen, the same thing could happen for a guy, but of course, I guess not as bad. The rest of her voice memos just go in this whole incoherent rant about Christianity and like Bible and all these different things. And then she tries to like take a dig at me and goes, I could tell you're not a Christian. Like, yeah, well, take a wild guess. Like, wow, I'm really shocked that the girl that doesn't believe in gender equality is super religious. Never seen that one before. Because this girl still couldn't grasp after explaining it 10,000 times that you basically saying that biologically men should help because they're physically stronger shows a form of entitlement. So you clearly do think you're owed a man's physical labor in some aspect. But just like I said in my last video, no, it didn't end up on the wrong side of TikTok. You just have the wrong opinion, but that's just my opinion. But hey, what do you think?
Santiago, man, I'm going to tell you, you're wasting your time with these women. They say stupid stuff, and then when people call them out on the dumbness that they said, then they get upset about it. They want to go around a circle. They want to ride a plane to the next city. They want to talk about how there's a beer festival going on in some other town that you never even heard of, never even seen, never even talked about, just to get you off of what you were saying. She said what she said. And when you called her out on it, she didn't like it. This is how a lot of these young ladies are. I was talking to a young lady a couple nights ago, maybe, or last night. She said something like, when I ask couples if they're in love and they say, yeah, we've been together a long time, that doesn't do it for me. I want to hear the passion in your voice. I want to hear, oh man, I just love the way he does this, or I love the way she does this. And I told her all of that passion in a long-term relationship is going to go out the window. What you're looking for is somebody that's going to uphold their commitment to you. You're looking for somebody that's going to uphold their duty. Why? You're not going to love that person all the time. That person is going to do something that make you upset, and you ain't going to want to do it. But because you promised them that you would do it and you love them, you do it anyway. And when that feeling, because the emotions are fleeting, when that feeling comes back around, then you say, you know what? I remember the good times. Let's keep those rolling. But sometimes you go in a valley. Sometimes you're up on the mountaintop. That's how relationships work. So when you ask a married couple, hey, do y'all love each other? Yeah, man, we've been together for a long time. That is an answer in and of itself. They're thinking of all of the things that they've been through. And that, yeah, man, we've been through a lot. That's what they're saying. But because they teach y'all to have this Disney fairy tale princess idea of, oh man, I'm falling all over her and she's falling all over me, and we're supposed to be wrapped in each other's arms and wrapped in each other's eyes every day. You think that the men come along and say, be careful of what this brother's going to do. Be careful of what this brother's going to say. You need to find a man like this. You need to look for characteristics like this. You need to understand that this is the way men are, so you don't go out there and hurt yourself. She going to argue with a fence post, as my dad used to say. She going to argue with a brick wall. Another thing my dad, well, everybody says it, really, to be honest with you. So you arguing with a brick wall right now. You arguing with a fence post. This woman don't want to hear nothing you got to say. Like I said, you held her accountable. You called her out. She had to unload on you on Instagram. You made very logical, succinct points, and she didn't like none of them because you're not agreeing with what she's saying. Keep up the good fight, but these modern women don't want to hear nothing you gotta say.
You ever go on over 200 days to find a husband? Well, I did. And if I had to start dating all over again, here's what I wouldn't do. This one, I wish I learned a lot sooner because I wasted months of my time on this. I would not text a lot before a first date. I used to love building up textual chemistry before meeting someone. It allowed me to feel like we could get close quickly and skip the time and effort to get to know each other in person. It also gave me lots of runway to fantasize, which felt like an escape from the monotony of dating. But after so many times of text chemistry not translating in person, or worse, texting a lot being the gateway for love bombing, which crashed and burned hard every time, I realized that texting a lot before a first date was a recipe for disappointment. If I started dating all over again, I'd use texting really minimally and focus on in-person as the main way to build connection and get to know someone.
I would be careful with this one, simply because you need to actually talk and get to know the person. A lot of people, and I'm not in agreement with it, oh, well, leave some stuff for the date. You're not going to leave nothing. I'm going to talk and get to know you. And in the meantime, when I get on the date, I'm going to plan some topics to talk about. And if we don't have the chemistry and there's nothing to talk about, then there was nothing to talk about through the phone conversation. What you're just trying to do is trying to go through the motions. The nature of, well, let's see if you don't have anything to click about. Let's do a screening call. Since y'all want to do business this way, let's do a screen or a FaceTime to see if we click. If we click, hey man, I like what I'm seeing or I like what I'm hearing. Let's meet in person. Let's see if it goes well in person. If it doesn't go well in person, hey man, this was fun, but I don't think I would want to do this again. But once again, like I say on my channel a lot, I'm not stepping out my house, spending money on somebody I don't know. If we ain't had a FaceTime conversation, I don't even do no text no more. A phone conversation or a FaceTime. I want to see what you look like, how you move. And all throughout that conversation, like I said, I'll be on that phone for 3 or 4 hours. I don't mind it. I clear my schedule. I know I'm going to be talking to this person. Give me a good meal. And if the conversation goes well, I'll take a victory lap. I take a victory lap and go get me something nice to eat. Go to bed. Hey man, this was great talking to you. Let's do it again sometime. Hey, are you free? Let's go over here. And that be my night. But I'm not about to spend my money on you and you got a bunch of foolishness fantasizing who I am. Then get to it, then be like, oh man, he ain't who I thought he was. You didn't have to think when I'm telling you who I am. And then you didn't spend my money, get back here on TikTok, talk about who I'm not, watch out for this person. The date was horrible, and I had already paid $200-300 for you to tell me how much the date was horrible. I think I'll pass on that.